Welcome. This week, we have a very, very interesting topic, which is especially meant for intelligent people like you. And I would like to speak about the importance of intelligence and how, even if you are intelligent already, which I have no doubts you are, when you purify your intelligence, you gain even much greater power and ability to transform your life. Would you like to know how to do it and what actually are the results? In this lecture, I will discuss about what is the meaning of purified intelligence. What are the results that you should desire that purified intelligence can give you? In the third, how do you obtain this purified intelligence? And we will turn to the ancient yoga textbook called Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, and text 27. This is from the story of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj. And in this text was actually spoken by little prince Prahlad. He was only 5 years old, but he was a great sage, you could say. He had extremely powerful intelligence, and he was actually teaching his schoolmates. He was actually delivering to them the knowledge that he had gained from his spiritual teacher, Narada Muni. And so he said in this verse, through polluted intelligence, one is subjected to the modes of nature, and thus one is conditioned by material existence. Like a dreaming state in which one falsely suffers, material existence, which is due to ignorance, must be considered unwanted and temporary. So now I would like to read also one portion of the commentary, just a little bit. One must realize that the material condition of life is full of distresses. One can realize this with purified intelligence. When one's intelligence is purified, he can understand that unwanted, temporary, material life is just like a dream. Just as one suffers pain when his head is cut off in a dream, in ignorance one suffers not only while dreaming, but also while awake. So I'll stop here, and I would like to give some explanation because these are very deep meaning sentences with very deep meaning, and they require some explanation. So in the beginning, we were reading that through polluted intelligence, one is subjected to the modes of nature. What does this mean? So first, I have to define these 2 points. What does it mean? What is intelligence, which is polluted? And what is intelligence, which is purified? So these are 2 different kinds of intelligence. So if we consider a person to be very intelligent, what do we usually first think about? Usually we first think about the IQ, right? His ability of thinking and organizing things and seeing the connections. And there are many different aspects which measure one's intelligence. However, in the yoga textbooks like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita as it is, the aspect of vision, the angle of vision of intelligence is a little bit different. And the main consideration regarding the intelligence is what is actually the goal? What is actually the goal of a person? That intelligence is guiding a person. So somebody can be extremely intelligent. Somebody can be a great scientist. Somebody can be a great inventor. Somebody can be a great entrepreneur. Somebody can be a great researcher. But as long as his goal of all his endeavors is limited to how he will improve his material life, his material condition, and his material enjoyment, then his intelligence is considered to be polluted. And it is actually explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in another place that such kind of intelligence is also called pramada, which is another word for for somebody who is like a madman. And why is this so? This is so because if somebody has intelligence, but is using his intelligence for such a goal, for completely material goal, then he is simply wasting his intelligence, he's wasting his time, he's wasting his energy, because the end result that he will achieve is only suffering and the repeated birth and death. So this is from the point of view of ancient yoga wisdom. And now, if we see the other kind of intelligence, which is called the purified intelligence, here we can see completely different parameters. And this is, in purified intelligence, as we were reading, one can actually understand what is the truth of this world, what is the truth of his life, what is his true nature, and what is really the goal of life, the real goal of life. We know that everyone is always searching for happiness. So we can say in one sense that happiness is the goal of life for everyone. But when one has purified intelligence, he actually understands how to achieve real happiness. Only in purified intelligence a person can understand this. So he actually understands that while living in this material world and endeavoring for material goals, for material objectives, one is subjecting himself or herself to miseries and perpetual suffering. And such a person can actually, with the purified intelligence, actually comes about a clear vision of reality as it is. So such a person can actually understand that as long as people are under the control of this polluted intelligence, as we were previously defining it, they are actually living in a state which is here described like a dreaming state, as if they are in some kind of a hypnotic state. And under this state, they are actually forced to experience so many painful emotions and feelings and experiences in general. While on the contrary, when a person has a purified intelligence, he can actually rise above this state of existence, rise above the three modes of material nature, the three invisible forces which influence the mind and the intelligence and actually make everybody hypnotized. So with the purified intelligence, a person can rise above, and then one can actually see things as they are. One can see the naked truth of this world. One can see that actually in this world, in the material realm, there is no happiness. There is just the illusion of happiness. But the actual happiness does exist in the spiritual realm. And one can actually enter that spiritual realm with the help of this purified intelligence. So now I would like to also tell you just a little bit of a story of a Prince Prahlad, and this is the speaker of this verse. He was a very little boy, only 5 years old, and his father was called Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means soft bed. So as the name already gives us some kind of indication, we can understand that Hiranyakashipu was a person who really liked money and sense enjoyment. And he dedicated his life towards this. And he actually was a very, very powerful personality, extremely powerful personality. It is actually explained that in this time when he was present, he was actually so powerful that he was ruling the entire universe. But he was not a good ruler. He was actually terrorizing. He was of a demoniac nature. And what was really, really incredible was that he got a son who was completely different in his nature than him. And his little son, Prahlad, received the spiritual instructions from his spiritual teacher, even while he was still in the womb of his mother. He was hearing these spiritual instructions. And when he took birth, he was already a self-realized personality. He was completely established on the spiritual platform. And his intelligence was spotless, completely pure. And he could see this world for what it is. And of course, he was teaching his schoolmates. The story actually, it's very, very interesting because his father tried to kill him in so many ways, but was not successful, because little Prahlad actually had divine protection. He had complete divine protection and father could not kill him. Just the opposite. At the very end, the Supreme Lord, the worshipable Lord of Prahlad, he appeared in a very amazing form of a half lion, half man, and he killed Hiranyakashipu. And Prahlad was fully protected. So you may say, how does this actually really relate to us? It does relate to us. The importance here is that we take this instruction from Sri Prahlad to heart, and that we really try to acquire the spiritual intelligence, the purified intelligence. The results of purified intelligence are that we become free from all the unwanted conditions of this material existence, which practically means we become free from so many disturbing emotions and feelings that we are experiencing right now. And our consciousness actually becomes elevated far above, and we become connected with our spiritual nature and with the Supreme Soul. And we understand our very, very intimate connection with the spiritual soul, with the Supreme Soul, which brings a very deep satisfaction and happiness. So you may now ask, how do you acquire this purified intelligence? So Shri Prahlad was also instructing his school friends how to acquire. The only way to acquire this kind of purified intelligence is that we actually associate with the personalities who have such a purified intelligence. So for example, if we read these instructions, which were given by Prahlad, then we are associating with him. So we can associate through reading or through hearing, and we can also associate with spiritually elevated personalities which are alive, which are present here in this world. We can try and make an endeavor to get their association. And when we get their association, the important thing is that we try to hear with an open heart and open mind, not critically, but really with affection, with faith, with open heart. And at the same time, it is important that we have a service attitude, which means that we are willing to do some service for such elevated personalities. If we act in these ways, then we will actually acquire this very, very deep spiritual knowledge, and our intelligence will become purified, and our life will completely transform. So I would like to encourage you to do this, because this human life that you have, it's a very, very rare opportunity. A soul does not get this human form so easily. And once you have this form, it is really important that you acquire this spiritual knowledge and that you purify your intelligence, because in this way, you will actually fulfill the mission of human life. Because those who just misuse this human life, then they lose the opportunity of this form, and then the soul is degraded and has to go down in the lower forms of life. You don't want this to happen. So take advantage, because we don't know how much time we still have before death comes. So take advantage of it and experience the great positive transformation.